Hey, I'm Chad. Some days I'm in the mood for Chinese food. Other days I want Korean food. Sometimes I want both. Impossible, said no one ever. Especially not Danny Lee, co-founder of CHIKO, a restaurant where you can eat Korean food and Chinese food together. Now watch me do a donut. Whee! Please tell me what's the next dish?
Sure. So in 2017, I started a separate restaurant group with one of my best friends and one of the fellow chefs in DC that I respected the most, Drewno. And we thought it'd be fun to open up, to kind of rebrand the Chinese, takeout corner store, right? And that's how CHIKO was born. So CHIKO stands for Chinese Korean, where half the menu is Chinese inspired, half the menu is Korean inspired. And within each cuisine, we put our own unique twists on it. It's kind of whimsical at times, but every recipe is based on tradition of each culture. And it's just done in a really fast-paced, high-energy, very takeout and delivery heavy way, where we have minimal seats inside. And we just want the food to speak for itself. So we opened our first location July of 2017 in Barracks Row, so 8th Street Southeast, DC. We took a former hot dog restaurant and turned it into, I was about to say fast casual. We still don't know what to call ourselves.
Okay.
Because a lot of people view fast casual cuisine as assembly line, right? Like Chipotle model, where you go in, you pick what you want, you just go down the line. What we do instead is have composed dishes that are made to order, but in a very, very fast way, maybe within 2 to 3 minutes. But it's still made, from scratch, every dish is. And this was one of the first dishes we created, is our chopped brisket bowl. So on the base, we have some steamed rice. On top, we have smoked brisket that we make in-house. It's then been glazed in a really thick sweet soy glaze. Finished off with pickled Korean green chili peppers, soy brine soft egg, sesame seeds, some nori or dried seaweed on top. And then we make our own compound butter using furikake, which is a really umami heavy seasoning, which is basically pulverized nori with caramelized sesame seeds. So the trick with this dish is you want to take your spoon, break the egg on top, and just mix everything together. And the background of that dish is something called changjorimbap, which in Korean is like the snack that every kid would make for themselves at home. So changjorim is basically chilled soy braised brisket. And then if your parents aren't around, you would take some butter and you just mix it in real quick so they don't see. So that was the basis of this dish. It was trying to find a way to mimic that childhood memory that I had.
It's really good. And I love the pickled chilies as well. Add like a little kick.
When Scott and I, anytime we create a menu item for CHIKO, we always think about, regardless if we're working on a Korean dish or a Chinese dish, it's like, all right, what can we add to it? How can we put our own stamp on it, right? And with this dish, it is, as a whole, when you eat it, it does remind you of that traditional Korean dish that I had as a kid, but there's something different, right? And again, it's those spices that we rub the brisket with is what you're tasting right there. And when my mom came in for the first time before we opened, when we're testing out recipes, I had no idea what she was gonna think about that dish, because she made the, traditional form of that dish for me my whole life, right? And she looked at it and she was like, what is this, right? She's like, I didn't teach you how to make this. But then she ate it and she was just like, her eyes lit up. And I was like, okay, we're good, And so every time she comes to CHIKO, she always orders that.
What was it like comparatively, like opening CHIKO versus Mandu?
I felt more pressure because I didn't have the luxury of my mom's umbrella, right? And I felt that pressure, right, of representing the Korean side of CHIKO and trying to pay respect to that culture, right? And I felt that weight. That was the fun part of it too, was just creating and not being held down to certain guidelines of tradition and authenticity, because we said from the outset this is going to be a very kind of whimsical take on, you know, Chinese and Korean cuisine, where we're going to each put our own spin on those dishes. And that really freed me up from Mandu, right, where everything is, and that is our mission there, to be as, you know, authentic as possible and very heritage driven there. Where CHIKO, I was able at least to liberate myself from that mindset and be a bit more creative, you know, with the dishes there.